be seated. Thank you for standing. All right, if I can get it up for you. Dusty, you come up here. Jesse, you come up here. Can two of y'all handle it? Can we trust y'all? I don't know what Jesse says, sister. All right, let's take up this evening's offering. We will get started and see what the Lord has in store for us tonight. I know we got a lot to do tonight. Got a business meeting right after service, so I'll try to be quick tonight if I can, Lord willing. But let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, I come to you tonight, God, just saying thank you for your goodness. Thank you for this morning. Lord of mercy, thank you, God, for the help that was got. Lord, I thank you for that dear family, Lord, that's been put back together. God, I pray, Lord, you continue to do a work in that home. Lord, I just thank you for the work you're doing here in the church. Lord, I just pray that you bless this time together. Lord, be with us in the business meeting tonight. Lord, we give you all the honor and all the glory for in Jesus' name. Amen. There were together Simon Peter, Thomas called Didymus, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and two other of his disciples. Simon Peter saith unto them, I go a-fishing. They say unto him, We also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship. Immediately in that night they caught nothing. I have something the Lord's laid on my heart tonight. I want to talk to you for just a minute about the church body. I want to talk to you tonight about how do we fix problems as we progress. Read this story of a preacher that said that he came home one day from church and from his study and came home and found his daughter arguing with her friends in their bedroom. He just sat for just a minute and listened and said they were all just arguing and bickering back and forth, and he could hear it all the way down the hallway. He could hear them yelling and calling each other names. So he quickly made his way up the stairs, busted in the door and said, What's going on in here? His 5-year-old looked up at him and smiled and said, Daddy, it's okay. We're just playing church. That really that, I got to thank the Lord. I wonder what my kids, or what your kids, how do they play church? I sure hope it ain't like Mama and Daddy goes to church. I'd hope it's like Mama and Daddy leads. For my own kids today, we had to have a talk with them. We got new neighbors. We sent them over, sent Connor and Lexi, and Hunter and Caleb was there, and we sent them all over to get this little boy and bring him back to the house and let him play. And they visited this morning. And I told Amy, I said, Amy, I need to talk to those kids before they go. She said, about what? I said, they need to set an example. I mean, they really need to set an example. And I thought, boy, we'd be in trouble right now if we hadn't already lived an example and we just have to try to tell them to live a lie in front of these other kids. Think about it. And often now, don't look at me like I'm fixing to scald you. I don't hear the bickering. There's no fussing going on. But it will come. And it will happen. From time to time, it's going to happen. But I want to talk to you tonight on how do we fix these problems on an individual basis. We find here in chapter number 21, verse number 1, we see that they go a-fishing and they catch nothing. Now, if we're going to fix anything in our own life, in our own spiritual life, we have to do a few things that I believe God has helped me with, and I want to share it with you tonight. The very first thing we're going to do, if we're going to fix the problem, involves our dependence upon God. You say, what do you mean? There, verses 1 through 3. I want you to see that they wasted their entire night. Wasted their entire night. You say, what do you mean? Look what it says. They returned to the old life. 7 of the Lord's disciples made a decision right there in verses 1 through 3 to return to the sea to find which they needed. Can I say it's a picture, perfect illustration of the life that you and I live in the flesh that we walk in daily. We go back to an old lifestyle. We go back to an old way to try to find what we think we need. It was a night of wasted activity. I want you to know that from time to time, we all fight this struggle. We all, every one of us, myself included. I find myself going back saying, man, I know what it's going to take to make this. I know what it's going to take to do this. I'm just going to go do it. But what I should be doing is seeking the will of God in that area instead of following the flesh and saying, I can do this. I know what I want. I know what I need. I can do this. But I want you to see their return to the old life. But I also want you to see there, they are reminded right there in verse number 1, 2, and 3, well, in 3, of what the old way has to offer. And that's nothing. It says they went forth and entered into the ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. Can I say the reason churches today are getting to a point in the ministry and in growing that a true Spirit-filled, God-anointed church is struggling with reaching the destination that I believe God has for churches today is because there's so many inside who have fled back to their old ways. They're wasting time, they're wasting nights, and in what they need to be doing is being reminded of what is there and what is here. Now you see there that they go back and they fished all night, caught nothing. I mean, had to be devastating. I mean, every one of them, they were professionals at this particular trade, but they were also disciples of the Lord. I find myself struggling on a daily basis of going, well, I am this in the secular world, but I am in my truck, wherever I may be destined to, or wherever it is I may be working tomorrow, I have to be the same person tomorrow in the truck, in the place of business, wherever I may be, that I am tonight, standing behind God's holy, sacred desk. If I result back to 15 years ago, the way I used to sell, the way I used to represent our company, ain't nothing there. Let me say this. We built a church, we did it too. We built a company website years ago. I remember the very first one. My wife could stand up and testify to it. It's probably, 15 years or more so. The church, the company website had a section called Our Staff. It happens on every website. There was 15 or 20 pictures, I don't remember, maybe more, maybe less. But there was several pictures on that staff web page, and 3/4 or more, Zach, was of me at company clothes. Why is that? The way I lived back then was somewhat entertaining to the world. But I think now as I walk in and we're fixing to be going on a trip just in a couple of weeks, my wife and I are going to be going on a trip with my work for 4 days, and we'll be out of the country, and I find all these guys that used to and got to know me for who I originally was, and they've gotten to see the change in who I am now, and they're like, oh, here comes Sean, oh, here comes Sean. But I realized to be effective, to make the change that God desires for every one of us, is we live holy today, tomorrow, and forever. Not just a 3-time-a-week deal. We find they wasted a night. But if you go into verse number 4, all the way through verse number 14, verse number 5, then Jesus said unto the children, have ye any meat? They answered no. Has anybody ever struggled with something and you said, I'm not going to quit till I get it done? And at the end of every day you feel defeated, you lay your head down at night, and you know that the Lord is speaking to you, saying, have you got past it yet? Have you defeated it yet? Do you know that I believe 100% the Lord will let you struggle as long as you will not bow down to Him. God will let you struggle in your pit of misery until you finally say, it's done. I'm over. I give. I'm going back to the Lord. I'm done with fighting this. We find there in verse number 6, and He said unto them, cast thy net on the right side of the ship. We know what happens there. They had the first night was a night of wasted activity. The second morning was a morning of wonderful abundance. Can I say that Jesus showed up and things began to change? When Jesus showed up, things began to happen. The very first thing in verse number 5, Jesus gives them a challenge. It's in the form of a question. Then Jesus said to them, children, have ye any meat? You think Jesus didn't know they didn't have nothing in the boat? Do you believe that He didn't already know the answer to that? How many times has somebody asked you a question, you wanted to haul off and knock the fire out of them because you knew they knew the answer before they ever asked you, but they did it to rub it in your face? Anybody ever done that? Anybody ever had somebody? Here's one. You know this bone right here that they say is funny. That's another oxymoron. Ain't nothing funny about it. But you hit your funny bone, and you're like, oh God. I mean, you're doing everything you can not to curse. And somebody says, oh, does that hurt? It's not fixing to. I'm going to transfer this pain to your face. But, no, that's not right. That's just being funny. But can I say that those kind of questions, it's those questions that irritate you. Do you know what those disciples had to be thinking when Jesus said, hey, y'all supposed to be professionals. You got anything in the boat? They said no. I mean, Jesus knew the answer. It was a challenge in the form of a question. But I want you to notice verse number 6. He gives them not only a challenge in 5, He gives them a command in 6. He says, cast the net on the right side. Can I say, when God challenges you and commands you, we need to be obedient and not push it off, not in regard of our flesh, but we need to humble ourselves. If we're truly going to handle problems from within, we must take the commands from the Master. Listen, I'm telling you, I wish I could tell you exactly, I wish I could describe the amount of joy in my heart with this circle right here. This circle this morning. This circle right here. You don't know how many nights that child has been prayed for when nobody knew where she was at. You don't know how many nights that child has been everywhere she did not need to be. Her mama's tore up. Her daddy has given up. I mean, can I tell you something? Nobody ever thought that child would break through the doors of a church, and bless God, she walked in here this morning, humbled herself, said, God, I've got to have you right here. I mean, to tell you, God is doing a work, but if we're going to see things such as that, we're going to see people, listen to me, I want to say it this way. I was talking to my neighbor yesterday, and Jehovah's Witnesses come through the neighborhood. I was up here studying. They ain't going to stop at a Baptist church, I can promise you. But I was up here studying, and I seen them pull in the Booger Hill Road there. And I had my window open and my lights off because there was enough light and it was cool in there. I seen them creeping up the road, and I thought, Lord have mercy, that looked like a bunch of somebody from IRS or something looking at me in a shiny Mercedes SUV. All of them had on black suits, white shirts, ties. I could see them in the car, and they creeped by the church. I said, oh, boy, it's going to get on there. You into my neighborhood. So I finished up my little deal and got to the house, and I seen them pulling out of Mr. West driveway right here, and here they made their way on up to the house. And I'm sitting there just ready, cocked. I ain't looking. I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm not going to be ugly to them. Don't ever be ugly to them. There ain't no chance in conversion if we ugly to them. But I mean, they drove up the driveway. I mean, in a pretty Mercedes. They all hopped out. They said, sir, have you got just a minute? I said, I got more than a minute. If you'll give me the same time I give you, we'll talk for days. Well, what do you mean, sir? I said, that church you just passed, when y'all were eyeballing it coming up there at the end of the road, I happen to be the pastor there. I happen to believe in the blood washed. I believe in the power of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I'll listen to your stuff. I ain't got a magazine to give you. I got a King James Bible, and we believe it from the beginning to the end. I said, let me talk to you while you talk to me. I'll give you 10 if you give me 10. He said, sir, we're not here to debate. I said, sir, then get out of here. If you're not going to listen to me, I ain't listening to you. Well, sir, I'd like for you to take this magazine. I said, sir, we don't subscribe to the funny paper. Get that out of here. I'm done. Do you believe he was bold enough when I got on the lawnmower to stick it in the crack of my door? Was it not there? Sure was. I'm telling you, people, we better get serious about this church business. I mean, we better be listening to the Lord. We better be dependent on God. Not only we better be dependent, but we've got to do before God. Jump over to verse number 15 if you got that. The Bible says 21 and 15. So when they had dined, Jesus said unto Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. Feed my lambs. Can I say something this morning? You're not going to feed a lamb when you're too sour to absorb yourself. If you can't feed your own self, you ain't going to feed nobody else. A mama that's not nourished nor nourished cannot provide nourishment to the child. I'm sorry, it's just the way things work. If we can't feed ourselves on a daily basis, well, I don't understand what you mean, preacher. You can't live like hell on Monday and Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, expect the preacher to resurrect you on Sunday and Wednesday, and you be fully nourished. I'm telling you, you buy gas for that automobile whenever it's out. It don't matter what day it is. Can I He said, feed my lambs. Feed my lambs. Our primary duty there. Look at verse number 16. He saith unto him again, the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, feed my sheep. Look at verse number 17. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus said unto him, feed my sheep. Let me tell you something. There's not a soul walking the face of this earth right now that God would not love to see them give their life to Him. But you know what? How in the world can we expect people to come to church when the people at church ain't even happy about it? If we can't find joy and excitement in coming to church, I sure bet I won't get them to come. Now I'm speaking to me in my own life. Let me say something. Good news travels fast. Gossip travels about 3 times faster. We ought to be excited about what God's done. We ought to be excited about what God's doing. And we ought to be excited about what God's going to do. Primary duty. Listen, we got a duty before God. We got a dependence upon God. Look at verse number 18. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself, and walkest whither thou wouldest. But when thou shalt be old, thou shalt stretch forth thy hand, and another shall gird thee and carry thee whither thou wouldest not. Look at verse number 19. This spake he, signifying by death he should glorify God. And when he had spoken this, he said unto him, follow me. We not only have a dependence, we not only have a duty, but we have a devotion to God. I'm telling you, verse number 18, Peter is reminded that his obedience is to carry Jesus with him. May come with a price. Carrying Jesus with him, representing the light of the world, may not always be easy, may not always be convenient, but bless God, it's our duty. We ought to have more commitment. We ought to have more devotion to God. Verse number 19, he gives it to us plain and simple. He says, this spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify God. And when he had spoken this, he saith unto him, follow me. Can I say something? When you're dependent upon God and you accept the duties before God, you will find yourself being devoted to God, and that's following Him. Verse number 20. Then Peter turned about, saith the disciple whom Jesus loved following, which also leaned on his breast at supper, and said, Lord, which is that betrayeth thee? Peter seeing him saith to Jesus, Lord, and what shall this man do? Jesus saith unto him, if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. Can I tell you what Jesus is saying? Jesus is saying, keep your mind on your own problems. Keep your mind on your own responsibilities. Can I tell you something? I've got enough faults in my own life. I don't need to try to pick apart everybody else's. And I'm telling you, if you be honest with yourself, you fight enough battles inside of you. You ought not be worried about what somebody else is doing. You ought not be worried about what somebody else is saying. You ought not be worried about where somebody else is going. I'm telling you, if you'll just get a hold of God, you'll become dependent upon God. And you do what you're supposed to be and devoted to God. You'll follow Him regardless of what she's doing, he's doing, they going. Let me say something to you tonight. God has given us a command that we ought to follow Him, but the reason that we are so brittle and we're so fragile in this modern day society is they ain't no devotion, they ain't no commitment. Everybody just wants to get a toe in. Let me say something. Partial obedience is fully disobedient. You're either obedient or you're disobedient. You're either saved or lost. Ain't nobody going to half their soul go to heaven and half their soul go to hell. You're either getting in or you ain't. You're either going to be obedient or disobedient. There's no gray area when it comes comes to that, there ain't no gray area in serving God. We either better commit. Let me say something, and I'm going to finish right here. Well, we can get there in Revelation where it's lukewarm. That was not cold nor hot. That was lukewarm spewed out of my mouth. It scares me to death not to be committed anymore. It scares me to death not to be devoted anymore. We're required to be devoted to God. I'm fully aware that being obedient comes with a price. But I want to say something. We ought not worry about what somebody else is doing, what somebody else is doing. I promise you, if you follow the Lord, you're setting the example God's called you to set. If you're following Him, you feeding His sheep around. I ain't no preacher. I ain't a preacher. You ain't, he needs to be, if he's a shepherd, he needs to be feeding the sheep. Let me say something. We all sheep. Sheep run with sheep. Sheep don't run with a shepherd. A flock of sheep runs together. Can I say something? God put you here to impact the flock around you. You know, I'm not for these modern day tactics of growing the church. I believe God grows the church. I believe it's through obedience servants in the church. I believe God has a plan for every church. I believe if you preach a sound doctrine, serving God's committed, doing the will of God, I believe God will bless. But I want to say this. Just as quick as God blesses, I fully believe that God does pull away oftentimes. I believe not only does He bless, but I also believe that He corrects. That's the simplest way to put it. I believe God will. Punish. I believe. I'm scared to death in the days that we're living in. The commitment has gone by the wayside. Devotion's gone by the wayside. People think they can do it on their own. They've lost their dependence upon God. We had a good conversation at my house just a few nights ago about fearing God. Why should we fear God? Why should we fear God? That was a question that was asked at our one night as me and Amy and the kids were sitting there. One of the kids said, I want to know, why should we fear God? And I said, well, let me tell you something. God holds the very destination, your eternal destination in His hand, but He also will take you right here at any time. Disobedience. Disobedience. I want to stay home and know that I'm committed. I want to know that I'm devoted. Did you realize that Jesus wouldn't have stepped in, gave them disciples a command to go to the other side? What would have happened? They'd have died of starvation and brokenness. Would have had nothing to sell, nothing to eat. We want to wonder why people are so hungry in this world right now. They're starving to death. Spiritually, they're starving to death. Why is that, preacher? Because we have a society of believers that have dropped their dependence on God. We have a society of believers that have gotten away from their commitment to God and their duty and their call. 3 times He said, feed my sheep. Or else I love you, feed my sheep. Feed my lamb. But He also says, follow me. Follow me, regardless of the cause. Then He spake, signifying by what death He should glorify God. You know what? It ain't always going to be fun. It ain't always going to be easy. It's always going to be worth it. I don't want to die of malnutrition spiritually. I don't want to die in misery from being disobedient. And I sure don't want to die being rebellious, committed, faithful, humble, mighty name. Let's pray. Father, I thank you, Lord, God, for the special message tonight. Lord, it's helped me God, that I may always be not just partially dependent, but God, may I always give 100% dependent upon you. Lord, may I never take into my consideration my ways in the flesh, but Lord, may I always follow the will of God. Lord, may I always stay devoted. Remember my duties. God, I thank you tonight that we still have a word that's been preserved all these years. It's still powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword. Lord, that we can find directions in every aspect of life. God, you've given us a handbook or roadmap for these days. Lord, as I believe in my heart these days are very well drawing near to the end, God, may we stay committed. Stay faithful. God, we give you all the honor and all the glory. It's in Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into business meeting here in just a minute. I'm going to give it. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to go, you can go. Anybody that's going to say, well, I'm not a member, it don't matter. We're going to go into business.
I don't think any needs to be run down line for line, all the way down the state. Projected, if you look at the bottom of that page, your projected income over expense 7383 year to date, over expenses 8800. The general fund has $8,750.70. Building fund $88,49.88. Commissions $1,400. Tent meeting, which we're not having right now, but that could go for revival. 2033-24. Youth fund 1119.58. Right now, the church has in the bank $22,153.40. I guess the overall growth in the last month, 166.29. And I've always heard if you got as much money as you've got money, you're doing fine. Whether it be in my house, your house, or the church. And I've got something right here that the upcoming revival that's in September, the exact date, has already been paid for in full. Above all these figures you're hearing right here. The revival has already been paid. I think that needs to believe. Does anybody see anything on this report that you have a question about?
Please.
Yes, sir.
Can you hold the microphone? I can't hardly hear.
All right. I'll just come out.
Wait, be careful with that one, man. She's too soon.
I've got this pink sissy microphone. I play in a bluegrass gospel group, but I don't sing, okay? Does anybody see anything in this report that you have a question about? What are you laughing at? I take it nobody has a question. may not have an answer, but we'll find you one. All right? With no questions. At this point in time, I'd like to ask you and Amy if y'all would step out for a minute.
You sending them to the mercy?
We're forming a new pastor search committee. Now, I didn't shock them with the fact of stepping out. I feel like I owed them that. I told them back here at the back of the church prior to the service starting. I didn't think it'd be right for them to go out there, for me just to hit them with that, step out, you know. And that's the only thing they know is they had. I was going to ask them to step out. When this church first started, I would imagine that John was doing it for nothing. Back when, I guess when we joined the church, Sean was making $100 a week. I believe that's Rusty and y'all were probably in on that decision when that came about, that $100 a week, which nothing. Then, like I said, we became members of the church, and later on, I became a deacon of this church. And, you know, $100 a week is nothing for a pastor to be making. I recommended at that point in time, and the deacon voted on it, that we double it, which that was $200 a week. That's still nothing. I carry right down the road and show you preachers. I can stand here and name a bunch of them. Doing a lot less for a lot more. Okay? And I won't, but if you'll ask me away from this microphone, I'll be glad to share it with you. There's many of them you want to hear about. At this point in time, the deacons of Gilead Baptist Church, we're making a recommendation that John's salary currently on that $200 a week is $10,400. And we're, as, again, the deacons of Gilead Baptist Church, we're recommending that figure go to $400 a week. That would be $20,800 total. About three, that's $133.33 per times he takes to get behind this desk right here. That's not counting his study time, not counting the 24 hours, 7 days a week that his phone lines are open to be out at 1 o'clock or whatever it is away from his family, hospitals, whatever. Like I said, we're, as deacons of the church, just a second, as deacons of the church, we're making this a recommendation. I would like to have a second from the floor, and then we will open it for discussion. Doug?
That was my question. Was that a motion that the deacons are making?
It's a motion. It's a motion from the deacons, and we would entertain a second on the floor. Doug says he was second.
I agree.
Now we will open the floor if anybody has anything that they would like to add to or take away from what I just said. I'm gonna have to get closer to it so I can hear you now.
I like to amend that recommendation, and the job that man does, let me take it to the book. I like to make a motion to do
I appreciate where you're coming from, but I know what this paper looks like, and without some growth, I feel like right now think we're doing about all we can do at this point in time. Yeah, I do too, I know what you're talking about, I know, but I will. I'm just giving you my opinion. I see the figures.
I'm just on the board.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we'll open the floor for, he is recommending you double even what I'm talking about, what the deacons is recommending. You making that a motion? Do I have a second on that?
That number would be how much?
Do I?
And the number would be how much a month?
Well, if you're going from, 20,800, it'd be 41,000 and some change.
I don't believe that we can afford that.
All right, Robert's Rules of Law, I'm the wrong one to be sending him. All I can do to you is talk to you like Wade talked to you, that's it, you know. We can, well, the deacons have made their recommendation, I had a second. We did not get a second on your recommendation. Are you okay to withdraw and go with the 20,000 and whatever it was I said there, 20,000 if we see if we can get a vote on that? Or we can take a vote on, we did not get a second on your motion, but
We shouldn't go any further.
But I guess it would die on the floor, I guess would be the way that would be. So I'm not.
That's correct.
Go with it.
It was down the floor.
It died on the floor, all right. But I have a motion from the deacons that we double from where we were at. It's gonna put it at $20,800 a year. I had a second from Doug. And any other comment? Anybody have any comment?
I don't want to get out of the way, but I don't think he wants to put us in a situation we can't afford to do.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He said you wouldn't want him, that's put it in a situation where we can get out of fit for
Right. Yeah, he don't have a clue as to the figure, he don't even have a clue we even thinking about that. You know, this wasn't discussed in front of him. And, but, I agree, like I say, he probably, I don't know that he'll take this, you know, but as a church, I think we need all, you know.
We'd like to check into this, like we want.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have a, I guess it'll be time to vote, if nobody has any comment.
Well, I think that, from the statements Sean's made before we bought this building, with the statements that he's made before as far as money goes, as far as the church goes, I believe Sean's heart was more in seeing this building paid for than lining his pocket. I mean, just from the talks that I've had with him and some of the comments that he's made, I mean, I think that's Sean's biggest love is seeing this building paid for first.
I understand 100% what you're saying. If we don't make steps to make his salary
Oh, I understand
similar
that.
to
I do.
what it is now, we'll never have a full-time pastor.
Yeah, I
So
understand.
we gotta make steps along.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I understand.
Let me say that last year, when we voted to give him $100 raise, he didn't want to take it. He said he won't win back. That's up to him.
And that's his business, what he does, is whatever they give him.
This is a baby step compared to other churches in the community.
Wait, I'm not a member here, but is that Social Security, is he a contractor or is it from the church pay Social Security on top of that? Other expenses, retirement benefits?
He's taking care of his own thing as far as I know. What a lot of churches do, and I thought about it, is they put it in the form of housing allowance, whatever, and he may be doing something like that through his tax people, but a lot of churches, a big portion of the salary goes for housing allowance or expense or, especially by vocational preachers that hasn't got that job. All right, we don't have any ballots or whatever printed up. That's it. Those in favor, show of hands. Those opposed, like voting sign. All right, just approve, ask them to come back in.
I think it's marvelous what God can do in this church.
Well, like I say, there's plenty of folk like it, long.
But appreciate what you said. Appreciate it. I know, he would good church combined. I wish I remember you. Yes, that would be great.
We have formed our new pastor search committee, and I told the church body here that I asked you and Amy to step out because I didn't think it'd be right to hit y'all with that, just out of the blue. But the church has voted at this point in time to double your salary. And effective, we didn't talk about an effective date, but we're real close to the first of the month. I think that would probably be a good time for that to take effect. Give me a show of hands on the first of the month. Y'all okay with that? Anyway, it's like a majority. And if there's no other questions, I guess Eddie, pray us out here.